energy infrastructure has again pushed oil above $100 a barrel. Republican and Democratic senators are venting their frustrations over the lack of progress in funding the Department of Homeland Security. The impasse has resulted in more Americans enduring long lines at airports around the country. Democrats are demanding changes to immigration and customs enforcement before agreeing to new DHS funding. At least 50 people have died, 125 others missing after landslides hit southern Ethiopia following a week of heavy rains. This is SRN News.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
The days are getting longer, the roads are calling, and it's a great time to upgrade your ride at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a 2026 GMC Terrain, the perfect SUV for wherever the road takes you. Need a truck? Take advantage of up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 with eligible trade-in. And for serious capability, get $500 bonus cash on a new 2026 GMC 3500. See the full lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or online at hurlchev.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Today, west-southwesterly winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour will be on the increase in the afternoon with gusts 35 to 45 with highs in the middle 70s under partly cloudy skies. Red flag warnings will be in place across the entire area during the afternoon and early evening. Tonight, lows will be 30 to 35. Tomorrow and Saturday, we'll see days 2 and 3 of dry and breezy conditions with elevated fire concerns. Friday's highs will be around 70, then Saturday's around 80. South winds of 15 to 25, gusting to 35 miles per hour. Friday night's lows will be in the mid-30s. Saturday night's lows will drop below freezing, and the next system will be coming from the northwest, will arrive Saturday night and Sunday with much colder air, north winds gusting 30 to 50 miles per hour, and chances for light snow. Sunday's daytime temperatures will be in the 30s, lows in the upper teens. This is meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
When fraud strikes, every second counts. At FNB Bank, we take your security seriously. Our local team monitors for suspicious activity and responds fast, so small issues don't turn into bigger problems. I'm Jessica Von Little at FNB Bank. We are your first line of defense, protecting you, your money, and your peace of mind. FNB Bank, local, trusted, here for you. Member FDIC.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
There is a benefit to building a team and keeping it together for the length of time. But that does not happen anymore because of the portal and NIL and money.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps to the pros.
It's gone! Watch it fly! Jack Caglione! His first big league home run!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, and the Insurance Agency.
Let's go to work. Witherspoon falls down to the foul line. Pass stolen from Copeland. He's on the break, rises up, left basket, reverses the jam and stops. 61-51, pack up 10. Timeout, Pittsburgh.
Sturts along the far sideline in front of the Iowa bench to Koch for 3 more. Yes, sir. First lead for Iowa since 11.5 in the first period.
Torrey on the dribble. They're giving him space. He finds Jefferson, who bounces it to Buchanan for a two-hand dunk. 50th dunk of the season for Blake Buchanan.
Tahanas, straight on 3. Missed it wide right. Tipped around. Diallo taps it back up and in. And the Dogs lead 60-58.
The second one, though, is off the mark. Edmonds fighting for the rebound, rips it away, sends it out to Pierre for the lead. Jaden, 81-80 TCU with the advantage, 5:37 to play.
And good Thursday morning, everybody. We are back here on the Morning Blitz for this March the 12th. Cold, chilly start this morning, 32 degrees. Once again, still going to be in a red flag warning weather-wise today with the winds picking up around 11 o'clock Mountain, noon Central Time. Temperatures, though, today much warmer than yesterday as temps really only got to, around the 50s. Today, back up to the 70s. In fact, today kicks off 3 consecutive days of temperatures in the 70s, low 70s to upper 70s over the next 3 days. And then Sunday, a bit of a cool down out here on the High Plains. But glad you decided to join us here on this Thursday morning on the Morning Blitz. Today's program, we'll have my good friend Riley Gates on the show. He's actually on vacation. It seems like every time we talk to him, he's on vacation. We talked to him last time. He was up in Minnesota, and now he's in the Dominican. And I texted him, and I said, "You want to join the show tomorrow?" Not knowing what he was doing. And he texts me back, and he goes, well, I'm actually on vacation, the Dominican, but I really want to join the show. And so he's going to join us from the Dominican. So we'll get a Dominican update from Riley Gates today from On3 Sports. So look forward to visiting with him coming up in segment 2. We'll talk a little bit of the Diamond, get a little baseball chit chat in segment number 3, update on some softball and baseball scores and news. And then a little bit of a funny interview with Royals first baseman Vinny Pasquantino after Italy saves USA's butt in the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. So we'll get to that coming up in segment number 3. But if you want to be part of the Morning Blitz, as always, the F&B Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. If you'd like to be part of the show, would love to hear from you, get your thoughts, your comments, and that stuff in. Today would be great. So give me your thoughts, your comments on anything that you would like to throughout the show if something's on your mind. Drew goes, I'm looking forward to hearing about the Dominican as we're headed there in July. That's great, Drew. Awesome, man. So, yeah, I'm interested to learn about the Dominican. I've never been there, so we'll get some thoughts on that for sure. Let's see here. Steve, let's see, that was actually yesterday. It looks like that came in. It looks like, yeah, Steve sent me something yesterday. Didn't come into, that was actually last night he sent it. Interesting. Thank you, Steve. Talking about Sam Hoiberg for Nebraska being named a finalist for the Nolan Richardson Award, which I had not heard of, Steve, to be honest with you. But I did read that it is given to the player who is the heart and soul of his team and the leader on and off the court. If he doesn't win it, he's a finalist. If he doesn't win that, I don't know why he shouldn't. Sam Hoiberg, by the way, was all defensive team, honorable mention, all Big Ten. I'm still mad. I think he should have at least been second team. His success was unbelievable, but this year for Nebraska men's basketball, but also not surprised that he didn't get a very high spot. So anyway, we'll get to in a little bit, talk a little bit about the Big 12 basketball tournament. In fact, the Kansas Jayhawks have been waiting patiently, have their first game coming up here tonight. They will be taking on TCU, who won the late game last night. We'll get you an update on that Big 12 basketball bracket coming up here in a little bit. But I want to kick off the show talking a little bit about state basketball. Yesterday, it was kind of another tough day for our area regional basketball teams at state. Another 0 for 3 if you want to throw in Dighton as well. Quinter, Wallace County, and Dighton girls all went one and done, or all went there and were done after just one game. The Quinter girls lost to Centralia 53-39 in Salina's Tony Pizza's Event Center. That was an early tip yesterday, but they finish up their season after that 14-point loss. 22-14, the overall record for Quinter, or 22-4, the overall record for Quinter. Wallace County Lady Wildcats, talked about it yesterday on the show. I said, man, this has been a very exciting postseason run for Wallace County. They've knocked off a couple of teams after being just a team with a losing record, and got into state with a 500 record, but because of that, drew the top seed. But I think overall proved that they were well worth. They were well worth. They did their part. They had earned their way in, and they deserved to be there, I guess is the best way to put it, because they took Hutch Central Christian. They only lost by 11 in the lowest scoring game of the day in that bracket, 39-28. They did a great job defensively against Hutch Central Christian, kept the game close, but ultimately lost by 11, 39-28 at Kansas Wesleyan's Mabry Arena. And so the Lady Wildcats season ends with an 11-13 record, but once again, just a great finish to the season with some dominant and fantastic individual performances put forth by a few of the ladies there for the Lady Wildcats of Wallace County. And then Dighton losing yesterday to Buckland at Dodge City's United Wireless Arena. The Lady Hornets season ending with a record of 21-5. And so of kind of our regional teams, area teams that our radio station kind of hits, it was a tough day. Went 0 for 3. There were a few teams that did advance that play some of our area schools, particularly in 3A girls and boys. So the Holcomb girls were able to defeat Ellsworth 45-32. I think the score at halftime was like 15-8 or 15-7. Like, it was a low scoring first half. They found their footing in the second half and pulled away to beat Ellsworth 45-32. The Holcomb girls in the state semifinals with a 25-2 record. The problem is they play Silver Lake, who is 26-1 coming up on Friday inside the Hutchins Sports Arena. Talk about a tough draw. That is one tough draw to take on Silver Lake girls. They're a machine. I forget who that one loss was to, but I don't think it might have been to Rock Creek. I'm not for sure on that. Nonetheless, they're really good. Really, really good are the Silver Lake girls. That'll be a whale of a game, and I would think a tough one for the Lady Longhorns. We'll see. And then the Hugoton boys yesterday with a nail-biting win over Andale, 56-55. The Hugoton boys get the win. Problem is they also get to face the number 1 seed in the bracket, and that would be unbeaten Rock Creek coming up here on Friday in Hutch. So a couple of GWAC teams able to make it out of the first round, and that's kind of the ultimate goal. I always say, you want to be able to get to the state tournament. Obviously, that's the first goal. And then I always say, in my opinion, you want to find a way to win that first game, because then you're going to get 2 more, no matter what happens in the state semifinals. Yes, if you win, you're going to play for a state title, and that's great. But if you lose, and that's unfortunate, but if you lose, you still get a chance to play another game in the third place game. When I was growing up, playing back in Nebraska, they've since changed it. But when I was growing up, when you lost in the state semifinals, that was it. It was over. There was no third place game. You weren't hanging around anymore. I just think it's great if you're able to win that first game, then you get to play 2 more, no matter if it's for third or for the state championship. I like that about that. So once again, overall, not a great day for area basketball teams with Quinter girls, Wallace County, and Dighton girls as well. All seasons coming to an end after the first round loss in the state tournaments. But the Holcomb girls advancing and the Hugoton boys advancing as well in those state tournament games. So I was actually kind of doing the math, and I'd love people's opinion on this on the FB Bank text line if they want to give it out. So it's north and so if I drew a line talking about the Kansas State basketball tournaments and the teams left in it, if I drew a line from Hayes, if I just took a line and went straight north and south from Hayes, Kansas, there would be a total of 5 teams still alive in the state tournament. So if I drew a line from that north and south Hayes and went west, so I cut off the very western third is what I'm going to say, the very western third of Kansas, pretty much. Or maybe it's the quarter. But if you took that, I would call it your extreme western Kansas. If you cut all that off, there are still 5 teams standing across all the brackets. Hayes High girls, who barely got past their first round game. I think it was Bishop Miege. They won by 1, which is exciting, but they advanced. Buckland girls, South Central girls, which are way down south. And then, of course, Hugoton and Holcomb. 5 teams remain standing. Is that a good number for Western Kansas, or is it a bad number? I don't know. I'm so used to seeing Northwest Kansas and Western Kansas represented, seeing Colby at the state tournaments, Goodland in the state tournaments, boys or girls or both. You usually see, you see teams get there. Wallace County, Wheatley Girl may hang around. They may finish in a 3rd or 4th place spot. To be, through the first round of the state tournaments and not have really anybody from our area still alive, I feel like is kind of odd. And then, of course, Holcomb and Hugoton, kind of teams that you see a lot in the GWAC, obviously, and then Hayes, Buckland, and South Central more on the very edge of that eastern edge of that corner, I'm saying. So I'm just kind of curious, like, is it a down year for Western Kansas, for extreme Western Kansas basketball? I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I mean, you could maybe say that a little bit about the boys after graduating such a great class, because you can look across, like, you just look at the standings of the 3A boys Larned Substate. You can just look at that, all those teams in that substate and 3A boys at Larned, and you're like, man, there's, besides Beloit and Holcomb, there are a lot of teams that are just kind of in the middle, with maybe 2 games above 500, 2 games below 500. Is that because they're so competitive and that, or are they? Or is it because they've struggled? They're not all in this collective group. They're not as good as they've been in the past. My guess is there's probably a little bit of truth in both of that. I don't know. I find that fascinating to think. I was just thinking about that last. I was like, geez, all these teams are gone, and how many teams are left in Western Kansas? And I was like, well, if you go by Acacia's rules, Western Kansas starts at Salina. But I was thinking, I'll draw the line at Hayes. So if I drew a line north and south of Hayes and cut off that western half from Hayes West, how many teams are still standing? And as of right now, there are 5. Hayes girls, Buckland girls, South Central boys, Hugoton boys, and Holcomb girls are still standing in the state. And will play for a chance at a state championship game or a chance to finish in 3rd place or 4th place. So they're going to hang around through the weekend. I don't know. Just a fascinating thought that I was thinking about yesterday. Like, is it a good year? Is it a tough year for Western Kansas basketball? To me, it feels like it's been a tough year. It's been a tough year for Western Kansas basketball. But maybe it's not as bad as I think. Just a thought. Anyway, let's transition here and talk a little bit about the Big 12 basketball tournament. Yesterday, a few more results were had in the Big 12 basketball tournament as they got into the second round of that tournament yesterday at the Big 12 basketball tournament there in Kansas City, still on that floor. I don't get, like, I understand that the video thing, you're trying something new. Why do they keep the gray floor? The gray floor seems weird. Like, they were talking about on the telecast last night, and it was, it's John Shambi, and I cannot think of the guy's name, unfortunately, right now. It'll come to me, but the color analyst guy, Fran Fraschilla, there we go. They were talking with Fran Fraschilla, And Priscilla goes, it reminds me of black and white television. And it does. It does kind of remind you of black and white television a little bit. But yesterday in the Big 12 tournament, Iowa State blows out Arizona State. It was the largest margin of victory in a Big 12 game, 91-42. Iowa State beats Arizona State. Bobby Hurley, by the way, out after 11 seasons there at ASU. Iowa State rolls on to the next round. UCF beat Cincinnati 66-65. Pretty much puts an end to the Bearcats' chances of making the tournament. They needed to make a deep run. Did not happen, even though they were one of the teams probably playing some of their better basketball here at the back end of the season. But Central Florida gets the win in overtime, 66-65. And then in the night session, you had BYU over West Virginia by 20, 68-48. AJ DeBonsa with 67 points combined over the first two games here in the tournament. 67. He had 27 points and 7 rebounds last night. West Virginia's season and chances of the NCAA tournament have come to a close, I believe. And then last night, Oklahoma State led for a majority of the game, but it was TCU that pulled it out in the end, 95-88. The final score there in the late night session and the late game from Kansas City. And that one meant the most to the Kansas Jayhawks because that's who Kansas will face today in the quarterfinals of this tournament. They will take on TCU, which you can listen to on Flyover Country 97.9 with tip-off set for approximately 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain Time. You can also watch it on ESPN2. Kansas, by the way, a 5.5-point favorite currently over TCU going into this game tonight. Of course, remember, you go back to when they played on January 6th. Kansas had to get it to overtime, pretty much because TCU melted down in the last couple minutes of the game. Turnovers and stupid mistakes completely melted down. And then all of a sudden, here comes Kansas storming back and gets it tied. They go to overtime, and Kansas gets the win. And Kansas gets the win 104-100 over TCU. Interesting to see what this game looks like tonight. If Kansas just goes out there and takes care of business, or we have ourselves another tussle there in KC. But that's the game tonight between Kansas and TCU. Other games today, tipping off at 11:30 Central Time. You've got Iowa State, Texas Tech. That's a 7 versus 16 ranked game. Currently, Iowa State a 5.5-point favorite. Central Florida taking on the 2-seed Arizona at 1 o'clock. That's at 2 Central, 1 Mountain on ESPN. You got Arizona with a 15.5-point favorite. And then BYU Houston in the 6 o'clock Central Time game with BYU with Houston a 9.5-point favorite at this point in time. It's so interesting. I was watching the game. I've been watching, seen a lot of the BYU because they started early. BYU has had 21 wins. They were 21-10 going into the Big 12 tournament, and they're pretty much a lock to be in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament, yet they were a 10 seed in the Big 12 tournament. And usually if you're starting and playing on day one of a tournament in today's brackets, with these massive brackets with these lots of teams, usually it's a result of you're not going to make the tournament unless you make a very deep run in your own, in your own tournament. You're going to win 2 or 3 games, and that might help solidify you in the big dance. But for BYU, I'm pretty sure they were in the big dance, but they were the 10 seed. They just did not have a great record in the Big 12. They went 9-9 in the Big 12. So, but I don't know. BYU's in it as far as I know. They were in it. We talked to our bracketologist, Sam Hadfield, last week, and he's, BYU was pretty much in it then before the tournament started. But it's just fascinating to see them playing on day number 1 of the Big 12 tournament, despite being a lock in the NCAA tournaments, just because they had a great non-conference schedule and slate and did very well. Excuse me. And then they go in the Big 12 and they go 500. And that's what they base the record off of in the tournament. But rarely do you see a team that is a lock in the NCAA tournament playing on the very first day of a conference tournament. But that's what happened with BYU. So once again tonight, TCU, Kansas. That game is scheduled to start at 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain Time, which you can listen to on Flyover Country 97.9, or it'll be broadcast on ESPN2. Before we get to break, let's get to let's see here. F&B Bank text line 785-899-2222. Stephen Binkelman, I was talking about the state basketball tournament. Steve gets back to me, talking about Nebraska State basketball. He says the Dunny County Stratton girls state title was only the 7th girls title from the Mountain Time Zone in Nebraska. Very true. Steve, there's a good chance. I could be wrong. There's a good chance that possibly could change. Could they add an 8th? I know Ogallala boys are very, very good this year, just a little bit further to the north. They're having a really good year. Could they become the 8th team in the Mountain Time Zone to get that done, Steve? Possibly. Ogallala boys are having a great year this year. Former Hugoton girls coach Andy Gillen's son, I think, plays up there for Ogallala. And he had a great run at Hugoton with the girls team back in the 2002 to 2015 or 14, something like that. Yeah, I'm not surprised though, Steve. Yeah, I mean, Western Nebraska is kind of like Western Kansas, kind of gets forgotten about once you kind of get past Kearney. It's like, what's else is out here? And Brian, FB Bank text line says the gray floor talking about the Big 12 tournament is dull and boring. I could not get that out. Dull and boring. I know it's something. There's something. I mean, I don't think the reviews have been that positive. There are some things that I think are cool from a fan's perspective. There are some things that are cool from a fan's perspective. Like I said, I think it's neat when they kind of show they go the high camera and they show the highlights on the floor during the timeout, or they show some stats or something like that. They did a stat comparison of 2 players on the floor. I think that's kind of cool from the fan perspective. From the player perspective, they were talking about, I think Kamari McGriff had a migraine for K-State in the first game there for the Big 12 tournament. I could see it. I mean, that would just get so trippy. You're out there trying to focus on the game and you've got this floor changing all the time. It's got to be weird. Got to be weird. But another thing I like the, they make the free throw and the lane lights up for just a quick little flash, and then it's back to being normal. That's they hit a 3, the 3-point line flashes for a second. I mean, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. I think that's kind of neat. But past that, I don't like it. The traction is not good on the floor. And you got to have player safety first and foremost. So I think they need to go away from it. And I think they need to just go back and put on a regular, wood-looking court. Watch the SEC, the Big Ten tournament. It just looks better. I know it's not as fun or entertaining, but it just looks better. Oh, okay. Thank you, Steve. Steve was saying that was just a stat from girls basketball, talking about the 7th girls title from the Mountain Time Zone. Okay. Well, I wonder how many boys titles there would be there, Steve. That'd be fascinating to know. So, yes. Okay. Let's get to a break. It's right at the bottom of the hour, 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Central Time here on this Thursday, March 12th. Once again, going to be a warm one today, warm back up into the low 70s. We are in a red flag warning, though, starting at around, noon, 11 o'clock noon, depending on where you are, with more high winds today, but those should die down by 7 o'clock. And then I think we have pretty good weather ahead for the upcoming weekend with warm temperatures and not too much wind. So let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Riley Gates. He is on vacation in the Dominican Republic, but he said he wanted to join the show despite that. So we'll hear what he has to say about the beautiful weather in the Dominican next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
The days are getting longer, the roads are calling, and it's a great time to upgrade your ride at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a 2026 GMC Terrain, the perfect SUV for wherever the road takes you. Need a truck? Take advantage of up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 with eligible trade-in. And for serious capability, get $500 bonus cash on a new 2026 GMC 3500. See the full lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or online at hurlchev.com.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
It's time now for news from the world of agriculture on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
As farmers and ranchers continue to grapple with a difficult farm economy, the Center Agriculture Committee recently held a hearing to discuss solutions. American Farm Bureau Federation President Zippy Duval was one of the experts to present testimony before the committee and said the time is now to increase demand for homegrown food, fiber, and renewable fuel.
Well, I focused on the need to increase domestic demand for agricultural products, especially in light of the historical headwinds that our farmers are facing, as well as trade disputes and farm labor crisis. The fact is that USDA projects farm income this year to be nearly $50 billion below the levels of just a few years ago when adjusted for inflation, and that's unsustainable.
Duval said that there are several other policy levers that Congress can pull to help farmers and ranchers.
Congress can help correct the structural imbalance of our food system by fixing long-term problems and also through new pathways. Long-term steps like authorizing year-round E15, modernizing our farm labor programs, and expanding access to trade markets will all help farmers get back in balance.
He said the hearing presented a great opportunity to look at the entire agricultural economy.
Concerns about fertilizer shortage were also discussed, and the potential of that issue to further limit farmers' ability to feed our nation. We've lost 175,000 farms in recent years, and we'll lose a lot more if we can't bring balance back to the ag economy.
Again, that was American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duval. For more local and national agriculture news and updates, make sure to follow us on Facebook at Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network and visit our website, ksfarm.net. For the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network, I'm Addison Stoddard.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas.
Oncology services every Tuesday at Goodland Regional Medical Center, bringing specialized cancer care closer to home. If you or a loved one has recently discovered you have cancer, my team and I are here to help guide you through the diagnosis. To learn more or schedule an appointment, please call Western Kansas Oncology Group at 620-720-2744. Together, we'll take the next step forward.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
We are back here on a Thursday morning, 8:36 Central, 7:36 Mountain Time, March the 12th. Hope everyone's having a great start to the day. Mid-30s to get your day going, but it'll warm up. Don't you worry. Simply 70-degree temperatures. I don't know, maybe similar temperatures? I'm guessing a little bit cooler. I don't know, I've never been. But our good friend Riley Gates decided to join us despite being on vacation from the Dominican. Good morning, sir. I don't know what they say there in the morning. I'm guessing it's not aloha, obviously, but what? Good morning. How are we doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Whatever it is, it's Spanish, so I can't necessarily
Hola.
comprehend everything there. So, yeah, we'll just go with that. But then you're like, is that a little cheesy to just roll with all the time? Like,
I'm sure
I don't speak it, So it's like, but you just go with punching. So yeah, it's pretty nice down here.
Yes, I bet it is. I tell you what, but I have to bring up this point because I find it to be really funny. But I text you, and I say you want to join the show, not knowing what you're up to, and you're like, I'm on vacation, but I really want to join the show, and so I have to ask, what do you want to? I'll even let you take the steering wheel here. What do you want to talk about and get off your chest this morning? Because if you really want to step away from your vacation to talk to me, you must have something really big on your mind.
Well, no, I just like talking to you first off. It's fun coming on your show. And I mean, I figured you might want to talk a little K-State basketball or a coaching search and things like that. And it's usually at the front of my mind. So yeah, that's kind of why I was excited.
No, that's okay. Well, I would say I can't, I'm kind of floored that you wanted to join us all the way from the Dominican. Before we get started in those questions though, we did have a texter actually chime in and says he's going to the Dominican here later on this year. What have you learned about the Dominican? What are some thoughts? Give us a quick little report of your experience of the Dominican thus far.
It's really sunny. Like, bring heavy sunscreen. I'm a big sunburn guy. I'm going with 70 right now. So I would tell that person to, whatever they think is appropriate, go heavier than that. And it rained. Be ready for like intermittent rain. It hasn't ruined a single day yet, but like it's been like an hour patch here or there type of thing. So nothing bad though. I'm really enjoying it down here. I like it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. How many vacations do you take a year? You know, I think one of the last time we talked to you, you were up in Minnesota. So do you work much?
Look, I'm working when I'm in Minnesota. Come on now.
Okay, well,
it's cold up there too.
I know. I just had to get. Well, you still could have gone ice fishing or something. You could have experienced something there, you know.
Yeah, you know.
I just had to give you some flack because I feel like every time I reach out, like, well, I'm on vacation in the Dominican, or I'm up in Minnesota. Like, God, the guy's never around. He's always on the road.
You do a pretty good job of catching me when I'm on a trip. I will say that.
And I don't even do it on purpose. It's just out of randomness that I call Riley Gates and say, what's going on? Oh, another fun question before we dive into the heavy stuff here. How about your Beloit St. John's Tipton making into the semifinals of the state basketball tournament? How about that?
Yeah, man. My brother's the assistant coach on that team. So I'm pretty excited for him. I think they play today, this afternoon. And then obviously go to state if they win that one. So we fly back tomorrow, land in Wichita at like 11:30 or something like that. And so if they win today, though, I'm going to be booking it out to Dodge right after that to go watch championship games. So hopefully that's a good problem we have to go through there.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make it back, 4:30 Central Time is tip-off on Saturday. That's if they win tonight. Tonight it's a late tip, by the way. That's 8 Central.
They got to win first.
Yep.
They got to win first. That's the key. But no, pretty cool. We haven't been there. I mean, been there a couple times, I think, since I graduated. I've run through the years in my head real quick, but we haven't gotten this far for a minute. So hopefully they can keep it going.
I mean, you guys had a lot of success in football when you were there. Did you have a lot of success on the basketball floor as well?
Yeah, we won in 14. We won it all in 14, and then we went back to the title game when I was a senior. So lost that one, unfortunately, to probably some friends out there in your area, Sharon Springs. So had a little fun rivalry with them a little bit.
That is true. That's what I remember watching Riley Gates play football was when he was playing against Sharon Springs. So I remember that. Wallace County. I remember that stuff. So Riley Gates is our friend from On3 Sports. He joins us on his vacation from the Dominican, but hey, he says he loves joining the show, so we'll have him on anytime he'll make space for us. We'll go into this K-State thought. You know, K-State basketball season is over. I think mercifully comes to an end. They're in the Big 12 basketball tournament. And what are you hearing? What's the latest on a new head coach? I know I'd read somewhere that there might be the Utah State coach seems to be kind of the leader in the clubhouse. I'd read something like that. What are you hearing when it comes to K-State men's basketball and the new head coach?
Yeah, it's certainly starting to seem that way, that it's going to be Jared Calhoun from Utah State. And, or at least that's kind of the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak, from everything I've read, a couple calls I've made and things like that. But it certainly sounds like it's going that way. You know, they had a pool. Everybody knows the pool of guys they went after. And Josh Schertz at St. Louis was considered to be the big dog of the group, the one that everybody's going to want. And I certainly think he would have been a good hire. Certainly could still. Obviously, they haven't hired anyone. But it doesn't sound like it's going to be him. In my opinion, I think Jared Calhoun's going to be would be a really solid hire if they can get it across the goal line, because I think he just wins everywhere he's at. He's a disciple of the Bob Huggins coaching tree. He was a GA for him. I believe it was a year at Cincinnati, and then I want to say 6 or 7 at West Virginia. I forget exactly how long. So, but he's had that guidance. He's learned from one of the best in Bob Huggins, and I think that's really good. I think you need that blend of old style coaching that Bob Huggins has, but also an understanding of basketball in today's day and age, you know, NIL, transfer portal, things like that. And I think he's kind of got that down. And if K-State gives him resources, I think he would go even better than he's doing at Utah State right now. And obviously we've seen what Jerome Tang had in terms of resources. So it's not done yet. It's certainly still up in the air. But from everything I've kind of read, it sounds like the offer's out there and they're just kind of waiting on him to make a decision. But I certainly think he would take it. And I can't really understand why he would pass on anything like that. There's some East Coast ties. I believe his wife's from the Pittsburgh area. I think he is an East Coast person a little bit. But I think any job that opens up there, Providence, Syracuse, anything like that, like I think K-State has more to offer, even if it's not a traditional basketball power viewed that way by some people. I mean, I think K-State is a basketball power and pays to be a basketball power, but everybody's kind of cliches in the Big East, so to speak.
I was having somebody on and they were talking about, K-State and, how basketball, they've spent a lot of money, but haven't gotten a lot of return on investment here recently. And well, could we see the fans possibly change their mindset, even though a new coach is coming, be like, I'm going to give that to Colin Klein because I want to see him have success. Could we see that happen?
I think you certainly could. I mean, talking to me, big money donor right here in my pocket. No, I mean, it makes sense. I get it. And I've said the same thing too. I said it before they fired Jerome Tang, was that at this point, just eat the buyout, ride the contract out, don't pay a buyout and give all your money to the football team instead. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what my opinion is or what you think or what brings the money in. What matters is where people want to put their money. And a lot of big money donors, they're a little bit older, obviously lived through like the good era of K-State basketball in the 70s and 80s. And they just want to see K-State basketball win again. And so I don't think it's crazy to say just give it to football. That's, like I said, that's what I'd do. But I understand where they're coming from. I understand if they want basketball to get up and going. So I don't think we're going to necessarily see it go away yet, especially with the coaching change. Now, if it's Jared Calhoun or whoever it ends up being, and they get the same funding and they don't necessarily have the same success, then I think you start to see that reallocation of where the funds are going. But people at K-State still really want basketball to be good. They want to find success, and they clearly showed that even if you need time, they're going to keep giving you money, because there's no reason Jerome Tang should have gotten the NIL funding that he got this year, and he still got it. So I think that shows that the big money donors really want to keep funding this program and get it over the top.
Riley Gates is our guest from On3 Sports. I have another thought on this. I've been a big proponent of possibly K-State going after Ben Jacobson, who is over at Northern Iowa. He just led them to a Arch Madness tournament title, but a guy who'd been there for a while, has had great success there and has won, gotten to the tournament multiple times. I don't know, but just maybe a guy with a little bit more seasoning. I would love to have seen him get a look. I don't know if he is, but I'd love to see him get a good look or something like that.
It's funny because I really liked him 2 cycles ago when Frank Martin left for South Carolina and K-State needed to hire a coach. I really liked him because that was like fresh off of the year that UNI beat KU in the tournament and everything. So he was kind of a hot name. The only thing that my reservation with him was that he's been a solid coach for so long and he's just never taken the jump. I mean, we're talking over 15 years ago that he beat KU in the NCAA tournament, and he just stayed there the whole time. And so that kind of was a red flag to me, I guess, so to speak. Or if I was looking for something wrong with him, it was why hasn't he looked for bigger and better options? Why hasn't he made that move? I think he's on the list, and I think his agent made some calls. They probably did an interview. I don't know that. I'm not saying that they did. I'm guessing they probably did, just because when you go through these cycles, you do 15, 17 interviews. That's just what you have to do. I just don't think. I think with the coaching carousel and the names out there and the jobs that are coming open or already are open, I think he probably would have been more like a 4 or 5 on the list, to be honest with you. I think that K-State had a few options here to hone in on, and they really wanted kind of in the middle of like head coaching experience, but a little bit younger, and he probably just didn't fit their bill. I mean, he certainly could. That he could still be the hire, just doesn't sound like it's going to be that way.
Riley, what's with you guys at On3, and I know you're on vacation, but there's been some stories that keep bubbling up around the world of college athletics. Nebraska's got 18 players that are going to challenge the CSC, and you've got, of course, Sankey and the SEC talking about how they're considering their own in-house governments. I mean, which one of those 2 stories is more fascinating or interesting to you?
I mean, I think anytime that you're challenging, like the whole CSC thing is, it's opening up a world that I never thought I'd get into. Like when I'm studying journalism at K-State, I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about like court documents and all this kind of stuff to the extent that I've had to kind of learn that on the fly. I think that's an interesting. Sorry, my headphones were falling on my ear there. I think that's an interesting path to go down. I think it really kind of pushes where we're at in college sports. I think it's shown that there's going to be a lot of power that players have, and they're going to keep pushing for, and it's certainly not going to get solved anytime soon. It doesn't seem like. So I don't know if I'd say I'm more interested in that, but it certainly feels like it's happening more and more, that kind of thing. And it's where my eyes keep going to. I feel like something new pops up in that front every single week.
Well, yeah, now the Big Ten is going to the NCAA saying they need to change their rules for tampering and stuff like that. I mean, everyone wants something, but nobody ever wants to get on the same page. It's just so frustrating from a fan's perspective.
Everybody wants it, and also that nobody really makes an affirmative step one way or another to make things happen. It's pretty frustrating. Yeah, you hit that right on the head.
Do you feel like if we go like 5 years into the future, do you think that the first initial step of getting this thing kind of under control, is it appointing someone to lead, like a commissioner or something like that? Is it something along those lines? Is that the first initial step? Or is it maybe players becoming employees? What do you think is the first step?
I think it's probably more that second thing you said right there, players becoming employees, being enforced on contracts. Here's the thing. Everyone keeps saying we need a college football commissioner. We need a commissioner. We need Nick Saban to be the commissioner. It's like, I don't think that. I think that's kind of more of a layup suggestion, or I don't think it necessarily has a lot of meat to the move right there. I think if you make players employees, you give them, collective bargaining, you put them on a contract, things like that. I think that would really kind of push us in a more stable direction. So I think it would give us an idea of, what you can do, what you can't do, how long you have to play, things like that. That's really what everybody's like gripe and complaint is right now, right? It's how many years can kids play, and why is there no loyalty? Well, there would be loyalty in contracts. You would have to stay for the length of your contract. And if you don't, you break it and you pay the buyout. It's like a coach leaving. And so I think that's the route we have to go. Now, how do we get there? I don't know. Maybe that's what you need a commissioner for too. Like maybe I had that backwards, but I think that's where you're actually going to see change is when, not to say that to tell the players what to necessarily, I guess is a casual way of saying that, but you definitely need some sort of contract. You need something to hold them to. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse, and it's going to snowball from where we're at right now, which already feels out of control.
I was going to say, aren't we already in that snowball? It just keeps getting bigger. It just keeps getting bigger. Riley Gates on 3 Sports. Riley, we'll let you get back to your vacation. What's planned for the final full day there in the Dominican?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I think we were talking about going on a boat. I don't know if we're doing that yet, but we
have you done anything interesting, like besides laying on the beach or perusing around town? Have you done anything interesting? Gone deep sea fishing? Something like that?
Nothing like that. We drank the rainbow. That was something that my wife and the couple that we're with, they suggested that you drink a drink of every color in the rainbow, and it got me. I was feeling it yesterday.
So in some places, don't eat the worm, but drink the rainbow. That's what they say.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that where Taste the Rainbow came from, you think? In Skittles?
If that's where it came from, I got about the same amount of sugar in the Skittles I had in all that drink too.
I bet you did. You got to brush your teeth twice after that day, probably. Yep. With all the sugar going in there. Well, you get back to that vacation. Thanks again for joining us, and hopefully next time we talk, you're not on vacation, so we don't interrupt that fun time with you and your wife and your friends. So.
Well, hey, if I took a call down here, I'll take it anyway.
Obviously, that is a fact, and we appreciate you, buddy. Thanks again. Safe travels back to the Midwest, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate your Ross.
Once again, great stuff there. Riley Gates of On 3 Sports joining us from his vacation in the Dominican Republic, and that was good stuff. He apparently tasted the rainbow yesterday and got to him, apparently. So glad he could make it up for us, I guess, and we make it to the show. Let's get to our final break. When we come back, we will put a bow on this show on our final segment. We will get to our Diamond Report. That's right. I was going to use the number. I was trying to figure this out. We will get to the Diamond Report, update what happened yesterday on the Diamond, both softball, some baseball scheduled for today, and some interesting comments from Royals first baseman Vinny Pasquantino after Italy gets a win last night in the World Baseball Classic. That's all next in the Morning Blitz.
It's back, and it's the most popular promotion of the year. The NWKS Radio Bracket Challenge is here.
In the corner of 3. Go!
Pick up a paper bracket at participating sponsor locations, fill it out, return it, and you could win a stack of cash for your hoops knowledge. No apps, no gimmicks, just bragging rights, buzzer beaters, and a chance to cash in. This year's NWKS Radio Bracket Challenge is proudly brought to you in part by
Twister's Bar and Grill, Farmer State Bank of Oakley, Triple R Insurance, and Hurl Chevrolet GMC.
At F&B Bank, we believe local businesses are the heart of our community. That's why we're more than just your bank. We're your neighbor, your customer, and your biggest supporter. From the corner cafe to the hardware store downtown, we're walking the same streets, shopping the same shops, and investing in the same future, yours. We're here, we're local, and we're always in your corner. F&B Bank, banking built on community, member FDIC.
You can feel it in the air. Longer days, greener lawns, and plenty of projects waiting around the house. Good thing Hoover Lumber-A's Hardware in Goodland has you covered. Freshen up your home with Benjamin Moore paint, tackle the yard with powerful Ego battery tools, and give your lawn the boost it needs with Stage 1 Ultimate Fertilizer. Thinking about cooking outside? Check out their great selection of grills, griddles, smokers, and outdoor living essentials. And remember, if you need it, Hoover Lumber-A's Hardware probably has it. They even have milk. Hoover Lumber-A's Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your place for just about everything.
At Wilkins Truck and Trailer in Goodland, Kansas, they offer a huge selection of used trucks, trailers, golf carts, UTVs, and shipping containers, all backed by knowledgeable staff and competitive pricing. From their trusted brands like Peterbilt, Freightliner, Great Dane, and Wilson, you're sure to find the right fit for your needs and budget. With flexible financing and a commitment to customer satisfaction, they make your shopping experience simple and hassle-free. Stop by on Highway 24 in Goodland or call 785-899-5454 for Wilkins Truck and Trailer in Goodland, Kansas.
Craving something delicious? McDonald's has you covered. From hot, fresh breakfast to juicy burgers and crispy fries, there's something for everyone, any time of day. And don't forget to try our classic McCafe coffee or refreshing McFlurry. Visit us in Colby, Goodland, Burlington, and Lamar for fast, friendly service and the flavors you love. Drive through, dine in, or order ahead on the McDonald's app. We'll have it fresh and ready. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
The days are getting longer, the roads are calling, and it's a great time to upgrade your ride at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Right now, get 1.9% APR for 36 months on a 2026 GMC Terrain, the perfect SUV for wherever the road takes you. Need a truck? Take advantage of up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 with eligible trade-in. And for serious capability, get $500 bonus cash on a new 2026 GMC 3500. See the full lineup today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland or online at hurlchev.com.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right, just a couple minutes left to go. Quick update from the Ball Diamond yesterday. You had Colby Community College and Fort Hays Tech Northwest softball in action yesterday. CCC softball with a sweep of Pratt. They've now won 4 in a row. They win 11-2 and 18-2. Deanna Miller, a 3-run homer in Game 1, and Briley Christian had 2 home runs in Game 2. Powering the Trojans to now 10-8 overall and 5-1 in conference play. They've had a tough non-conference showing, but in conference they've looked good. 5-1. They're at home Saturday against Hutch. Fort Hays Tech Northwest swept at Dodge City. They lose 15-0 in Game 1. Were held without a hit, and then Game 2 got a solo shot from Harley. I think it's Drainer is how you say her name, which prevented a shutout. They lose still 14-1. They're 1-15 on the season. 0-6 in Jayhawk. And are at home against Garden City here on Saturday. Colby Community College baseball, they hope to end a 5-game losing streak today. They host Butler at Young Memorial Field with a Jayhawk Conference doubleheader. Trojans have yet to win a conference series. Of course, they've only had one. They were swept by Hutch in their first series, but first pitch today set for 1 o'clock Central Time. Let's get to the walk-off and play a little of Vinny Pasquantino audio for you here. Yes, interesting comments from Vinny Pasquantino in the walk-off.
High drive, deep left, grand slam!
And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
So there was a lot of confusion, yesterday going into the World Baseball Classic because USA thought they'd already clinched a spot in the knockout round. Actually, they needed Italy to do something or Mexico to do something in order for them to make it. Otherwise, they were going to be eliminated. Italy got it done, 9-1 over Mexico. With that win, the USA remains alive in the World Baseball Classic. Vinny Pasquantino, who plays for the Italians, had a great interview post-game. He hit 3 home runs, by the way, in the 9-1 win. Here's what he had to say.
Espresso shots in. How you feeling?
I'm caffeinated. I'm beamed up right now, so we're in a good spot.
So how many more boxes of those espresso pods are now on order?
As many as we need. As many as we need, we'll make it happen. So that was unbelievable, huh? You're welcome, USA. We were thinking of you guys over at your hotel. We were thinking of you guys, so I'm glad you guys could join us in the party.
So when you get back to your phone, Vinny, what's that text message going to say from Bobby Witt Jr.?
I'm hoping he's got a room key for me at his hotel. That's what I'm hoping for. That's it. No, I'm just joking around, but...
The Basquatch. You're welcome, USA. That's kind of true. Pretty funny stuff there, nonetheless. Team USA will be alive. They actually play again on Friday is when they play 7 o'clock Central, 6 Mountain Time. They take on Canada in the World Baseball Classic quarterfinals. But if Mexico didn't score 5 runs and if the U.S. or if Italy didn't win, U.S. would have been eliminated. And it's funny because Mark DeRosa, their manager, already thought they were in, and they weren't. And he goes, it was a miscalculation on my part. So anyway, there are, like I said, no games tonight, off until Friday when the U.S. plays. As also Korea and Dominican Republic. We'll see you tomorrow here on the Blitz. Have a good one.
Rocket. What